Hey, hi everyone. Today we are going to discuss a very high level understanding of data cloud, high level architecture of data cloud, right? So first question comes into our mind, where, why data cloud, right? When we use data cloud. So let's just take an example. Imagine a company that uses multiple platforms, a CRM for customer data, marketing automation tool for campaign, ILMS for their tracking their courses, order management service to track the purchases, and maybe some custom app for other services as well, right? Each of these platforms store data separately, and data isn't always connected. This leads to a big challenge. Creating a single unified view for your customer is very difficult. Without this, your marketing efforts become fragmented, and understanding the full picture of your customer is difficult. And it the bigger problem is not having a single view because all the data is disconnected, decoupled, right? Now the real pain point comes when you need to market to these customer effectively, right? You are dealing with incomplete, decoupled data that decoupled data that lack the customer journey path timeline because the data is decoupled, the information is not complete and not stored in a single place. This is where Salesforce Data Cloud comes in and helping business solve these problems by unifying these records into a single comprehensive customer profile, right? That is where the data cloud helps you to build a single view. Now, how data cloud work? Today we'll discuss just the high level understanding of the data cloud. I'll gonna show you how data flow inside the data cloud, what is the use case, what is the different purposes, what are the different terminologies, right? So for that I just created some diagrams which will help you to understand these things. We just start with the first and the foremost thing. Uh, the first thing come into the picture is inserting data into data cloud. That is where the data streams are in data cloud. Data cloud provide you data streams to connect your data cloud org with different platforms. So I take an example here of, let's just say you have two platforms. One is CRM, another one is GCS. That is Google Cloud Storage. And you have profiles in both of these platforms. You might have another third platform as well, and you can connect that. So the connection of these platforms with data cloud is called data streams in data cloud. You connect different data streams, which you can think of data stream in a sort of these pipelines. You can imagine them as these pipelines. That's what they are, connecting your source with your data cloud. And these data streams help you put the data into these different objects that you create or you can create in data cloud. uh, there are some standard available that you can use, or you can create some more if needed. So these you connect your different sources with your data cloud with the data streams, and then you put the data into data lake objects. So that somewhat give you a high level understanding of these two terminologies in data cloud. One is data streams and data lake objects, right? Now you see here you have leads, contacts, and users. Somewhat they all are profile, they all are customers. Leads are not typical, not actually customer, but they are individual profiles. So what you're doing, you're putting them into different data lake objects. You can think of data lake object as containers or objects that is there to store the data. Then from CRM you might getting their cases. From GCS you might getting their opportunities, right? Give me a second. Yeah. So from GCS you might getting a different, let's just say not opportunity then, or different orders that they have made. So you're getting different data from different sources, and you're just putting that data into data lake object at this point. You're not doing anything, just getting the data inside the data cloud. And that's done by data streams and data lake objects. That's what the picture of data streams and data lake objects are, right? Once you got that, you have data transformation in data cloud. What data transformation help you do is, I don't have to write it down, but write the spellings also. But yeah, you got the point. What is data transform? So once you got the data, you might the data might not be in the ideal form. which you wanted to use in further things. So that's where the data transformation help you. With the help of data transformation, you convert this data into the desired form. You might wanted to add some more calculated, not exactly calculated field, but yeah, maybe calculated fields, or maybe you wanted to convert the data type, or you might wanted to create a different data from these different data that you're getting. So that's where the data transform help you to do that. With the help of data transform, you can do that basically, right? Once you've done that, data with the help of data transform, you basically create different more data lake objects, and in that you put that data. Let's just say maybe you created a data transform which is actually a data lake object, and you combine data from these two sources and put it into this particular new data transform, uh, new data lake object, right? Once you've done that, now you got the data, and you got the data into the desired form in which you want. Now, the second part comes into the picture, which is data model objects, and that is where things are little goes into with standard process. You have the data, but now you have to put that data into some of the standard data model objects. They are again, you can think of them as different containers. There are some standard containers in which you have to put the data, and then there are some custom that you can create, and there are some other standards in which you can provide. But there are five standard in which you have to provide the data, in which you have to put the data in order to get a unified profile of the users. So you see, you are getting the data of leads, contacts, and users. And as I mentioned, somewhat all of these three are the profile data, the individual data. And for that, you have a standard data model objects inside a data cloud, which is called individual. So in order to unify the record, first you have to put all the profile data into this individual object, regardless from where you're getting this data, right? So you collect the different profiles from different sources, and you put it into a single container. That's what you are doing here with the help of data models, right? Now these data model, one of the standard data model object is individual, where you have to put the data, right, as I mentioned. And in individual, you basically put the data of profiles with their I would say profile attributes, right? Profile attributes can be, for a person, can be their age, their gender, their date of birth. All of the profile attributes of a user, you put it inside the individual data model object, right? Then there is another standard data model that's called contact point email, in which you just put the email address of each user with the ID. So that's basically what you're doing. I'm showing you a single view of taking some example of some records, and then showing your record, showing your table, so that give you idea. That's how the data is put inside this, right? So basically, you put all the profile attributes inside the individual, and then you put the email address inside the contact point email. This helps later when you are creating unified record, unified individuals, right? There is another standard object, data model object, which is called contact point phone. So the same idea, in that you put all the users IDs, and then the phone numbers, unique identifier, and then the phone numbers. Then there is something called contact point address, in which you provide their IDs, and of course your guess is right. The address is, that can be city, country, zip code, and all of street, and all of that, right? The fifth one is party identity. Party identity help you to let's just say you are getting data from different sources of profile, and both the sources having a different unique identifier. uh, if in case of India, let's just take an example. One profile is coming from GCS with the driving license identity ID, and from other platform, the user is coming with their student ID. So student ID is also a unique identifier for a person, and their driving license number is also a unique identifier for a person. Both of them are unique, and both of them are belong to a single person. That's where you put that kind of IDs in party identification, which help you later in the picture, right? So five standard object. One is individual, contact point email, contact point phone, contact point address, and party identification, right? And you put that data into these different five objects. That is basically the profile data that you're putting. So far we are talking about the profile data. Remember, we have another stream which is basically getting their cases, and their, let's just say, cases are coming from two different sources. One is from CRM and GCS. You basically get them into different data lake objects, but in the end, when it comes to DMOs, you put it into a single, you create a single DMO which is called, let's just say, case, and then you put all the data into that particular DMO. Now let's just say orders are coming, you do the same process. You have the data lake objects for each source, and then you put it into a single DMO that's called orders, and that table will remain separate, will remain separate in a single place, right? Once you've done that, so far what you did, you collect the data from different sources, you put it into DLOs, and you put those different containers into a single container based on their categories, right? Basically that's what you're doing. So you get the profiles in five buckets in DLOs, and then you put all the profiles into a single bucket in DMO, and then you got cases in three different buckets from data lakes, and you put it into a single bucket in DMO, right? Once you've done that, now you have these standard tables created in which you have all the data uh, coming from all the different sources based on their type, right? There are three standard type in data cloud. One is profile data, which is basically we talked about, and you put profile data into individuals. That is very important. And then another one is engagement type of data, which you put it in based on your requirements. It can be cases, orders, courses, and so on, right? The third type is the other type, where you have any other type of data, you put it into that category. Engagement is basically a person engaging with a brand. So those are called basically the activities of the users or the customers that you put into engagement category. Once you've done that, you got the data into separate containers. Now the third and main part comes into the picture, which is called creating IR, which basically means creating unified record of these from these different profiles. So you see, I've taken an example of this here, where you see Dhawan is coming from, let's just say, CRM, and the ID of Dhawan from CRM is 123, age is of course 12, and then there is another record for Dhawan, which and this time the ID is 234. Possibly this record is coming from GCS. IDs are different in both the places. Again, the age will remain the same, right? And you can see the same thing here. You have Dhawan, which is the ID 1 ABC. So in ABC, Dhawan's email address is Dhawan at Gmail, and then from 234, Dhawan's email address is Dhawan1 at Gmail, right? I might have different emails, or I might have the same emails in two different sources. So in these tables, you are basically seeing duplicate records because they are coming from different sources. Now you create a unique identifier. That is the main point of data cloud. You create IR rules, matching rules. So basically you're telling data cloud on what basis you wanted to create a unified record. So that is called IR. You create different IRs, and based on that, the records being unified. So I've taken an example of one IR. Let's just ignore the other IR for now. Let's just let me just put it into little below, so you do not get distracted from that. I've taken example of one IR, which is basically exact name. So if the person have exact name, based on that it will create unified records. So here I have two Dhavans, but based on this matching rules, it automatically create a single record for that particular person and put it into another object that is called unified individual object, right? So in individual, you might have a duplicate record, which is a DMO, and then a unified individual is created where you will have single record for each person. There is something called unified unified link individual, which will basically which okay, give me a second, I'm too bad with the spelling. Visual, yeah. So there's there is another object called unified link individual, which is basically link these record with your different individual records, right? That's the idea. Where this there is a different DMO which again have a linking of this single record to these two records, which will basically help you in some cases. But yeah, the idea is creating this single unified profile which is created based on the exact matching rules that you have provided. It Now the matching rules can be different. You can create different matching rules. You can create exact based on exact email, which is basically this time it will not take the name as consideration. It will take email as consideration. So the record that have the same email, which will be unified into a single record. Same idea, same philosophy. I think you got the point, right? You can create different matching rules. The matching rules can be name and email. There are some standard matching rules like fuzzy name and exact email, which will basically check the name can be little different, but email should be exact. Or you can say exact name but fuzzy email, which basically name should be exact, but email can be little fuzzy, where it will check email that looks similar, but the name should be exact same, and then merge that profile into a single record, right? So those that's how the data cloud work. It creates a unified record based on the matching rules that you have provided, and that's the very high level understanding of data cloud. So by this you got the point that the profile data that you're getting, it should be it should be put into the individual DMO, because you create these different matching rules on the individual object only. That's the main point of data, like I would say the standard process, or uh, I can say a rule or a constant of data cloud, where you have to put all the profile data into individual object, which is a standard object, and the matching rules that you create, it is created on individual only. So that's the standard things of data cloud. Once you got these unified individuals, you use that into different sources. I missed one part in DMOs, which I wanted to cover later actually. So once you create these individuals, you connect these DMOs with different DMO also. So you basically do data relationship, where you mention that okay, these individuals are connected with these opportunities by this particular ID. So this ID is connected with this particular ID. That's pretty standard process of creating any data model or any data structure, where you have one primary key or one foreign key, and one foreign key. You connect your primary key with the foreign key. That will basically connect your two different tables into a single table. That help you to do that help you to create different SQLs and get the data into different formats, right? You do that. Then there is something called calculative insights, which is basically you based on these relationships, you create different attributes. Let's just say you wanted to create a new new table which will basically hold each individual and their total number of orders. So you do that with the help of calculative insight. You write the SQL query which will give you the total number of orders for each individual. That will be there in your calculative insights. So that's a very high level understanding of data cloud. If you have any questions or doubts, just feel free to comment on this, and then I'll get back to you. Right?